Alright, so you're gonna use a 14mm wrench. Try to get one of these. This actually has a lot more spacing compared to the open end wrench and the other closed end wrench that has a ratchet into it. It makes the job a lot easier, and plus it's long and you can actually have leverage. So for me to be able to remove the bottom one too, I'm gonna do the same thing, lefty loosey. The other side is gonna be righty tighty, which is kind of weird because you're on the opposite side when you're on the passenger. That's the way to remove it. So I'm gonna remove this. Usually I would need 2 hands. Let me try to do that. Pretty old, so it's rusted. You can apply some WD-40 and let them grease to loosen it up. Alright, it is on there tight. So, basically this Allen key, you're gonna place it in here to hold that too as well, to kind of release it from going the other direction. Alright, let's try that. That's kind of hard. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna need some WD-40 to loosen it off. We're gonna try it on the other side just to get it out the way too as well. So I was able to take out the other side, just a lot more spraying, and as well as try to get this cleared up too. So we gotta be able to put this in the Allen wrench inside to twist it out. So since this one is, actually, you know what, I'm gonna use this one instead. I don't want to end up breaking that one since that does cost more. So once you get it in, make sure it's in all the way. So you want to kind of hit it. No, there's no room, space that much. And then I'm using this to kind of have leverage on here. So what I want to do now, it'd be nice if I had another set of hands to be able to hold this in place and to have somebody bang on it. So since I can't, I'm trying to do it myself. So the difficult part, since I don't have an extra pair of hands, is what I'm gonna do is, since I have to turn this one, the Allen key, to the other end, going counterclockwise, clockwise, and this is counter. So I'm gonna have to press it against something. So I'm gonna see, since it needs to go that way, this one needs to go the other way. Okay, so basically I'm gonna put it upwards. A little issue here, since looks like there's a lot of rust. There you go. So what I'm gonna do is do it that way. So basically, you see how I have it like that? Now I could hold this and add some leverage onto, pound it down, and go downwards this way. releasing it. Oh, okay, so since it's doing that, it's kind of releasing it the wrong way. So it looks like I'm gonna have to do it underneath. So I had it wrong. Since now I know that, I'm gonna put this in there. Okay, so to get it in these. Then I'm also gonna count it so it doesn't come off. Don't want that to come off, and then it's gonna strip it. Hopefully it won't. Okay, so I'm gonna try to hold on to it again and try it. Okay, so it should have counterclockwise, right? It's twisting it the other way. What? I don't get that. Okay, maybe because it's coming off. Okay. Try again one more time. I'm gonna try to hold on to both somehow. Okay, that seems like it's working. Yeah, I would definitely suggest getting an extra pair of hands, someone to help you. This is pretty hard doing it by yourself. Okay, I'm able to loosen it a little bit by hand. So once you get to that point, you want to use any method of wrench. So you want to make sure the wrench is going the right way. Okay, perfect. You don't want to end up trying to lock it instead. Alright, so we're going to do that. At least this way I can rotate it easily without having to remove it back and forth. Just be careful you don't fall and hit your face on the brake rotors. So if you want to get closer, I'll suggest that at least. So you can actually be able to catch yourself. Or yeah, you do slip, or put your forehead on the fender. Maybe safer that way. Looks like it is. Alright, so it's coming loose. It's really rusted, so that's what's probably making it difficult. And it's never been removed or replaced at all. Thank God, came off. If it wasn't gonna come off, then I would use a set of torch flames. High temperature heat will kind of break the rust as well. You can try it for yourself. It's actually been done before. So it's too much rust on there. You can use a torch to really heat it up. Leave it there for a couple minutes. If you're afraid of burning something plastic or so, just keep going back and forth. Don't leave it on there for too long. If you notice it's starting to burn the plastic areas, just be careful. I would suggest putting like a metal plate in the way, so that way you don't burn your car. You don't want that to happen. So this one, it's stained. It's rusted from the top area. So I'm gonna do the same method I did down below to be able to remove it. And when it's never replaced before, it makes it so difficult, especially depending on the area that you live. Especially near the ocean, you will have these rust up a lot faster because of the salt, the sodium, the ocean that causes the metal to kind of rust a lot faster. There you go. Man. Okay. So we replaced the new one. It does have, it is labeled right, and then the other one is left. So basically when you're sitting in the car, that's how you can tell which one's your left and which one's your right. So right side is the passenger, this way. This is left hand, so it's driver. You're on the left hand drive, we're not on the right hand. So you can, if you do forget, you can think about the difference between the right hand drive and on the left hand drive. So that's one method, one solution actually. Okay, so we'll do that. Put this in. You want to double check it because sometimes it's not completely on properly, so you're gonna end up having to kind of bend it. Okay. So you probably would try to end up getting the top first, because then just for the bottom, it makes it a little easier if you do start with the top. So you're gonna put the screws on. I'm gonna do the top and the bottom at the same time. Do it by hand first, so you get it all the way in. So the same method that you did to remove this, you're gonna do it the same way when you tighten it. You're gonna make sure it's really tight, because if you don't, the threads, these will tend to loosen due to the vibration. Throat condition, pretty quick. Learning from experience, because then after a week I have to refix it, retighten it. I did think that thought that it was damaged already, and did purchase some new ones, but after I retightened them a lot more, there's a torque spec on each of these sway bar links for each varies of different applications for your vehicle, different vehicles, and you want to try to get that too as well, so that way you can get the right amount of torque on here and make sure it's tight, properly tight. So these nuts are bigger. I'm thinking they might be 15. Yes, they are 15. So I'm gonna do tightening it with a 15mm socket. So once you get close to the very end, you want to use the Allen wrench to lock it in place so you don't damage the internal bearings on this. So you know when you're tightening it tight enough, you kind of can't tighten it enough anymore. That's when you start using your wrench. So the wrench should be the same. Hopefully it didn't change. Let's double check it. It looks like yes, it is. So I'm gonna go back and forth with the bottom and top, tightening each one, so it's not just wobbling around a little too much. You want to have both of them. You don't want to just tighten one first really tight and then go for the next one, because you might end up damaging it. You want to make sure they're both tightening equally, same amount of stacks, because you don't want to end up damaging it. So, oh, looks like it's tightening over here. So, looks like I might end up having to use, oh, what's a 15? Because this bottom one, it's not tightening, it's just the socket part is tightening, the nut is tightening. So I'm gonna have to use the same method. So I noticed that because I noticed it moving a little too much, and no matter how I tightened it, it wasn't going in all the way. So you might want to check on that and go back and forth and check to see, make sure it's in tight, because these are locking nuts. So of course, the way it is, it's gonna not go in easily. So do this side too. So you want to use this to torque it down, because then you don't want to damage your tool as well. You use something else that doesn't have this, or you know what? I don't think you can use a torque socket, because then again you can't even see if this is actually getting torqued down. You might possibly actually, you know what? When you're tighten it, I think you should be okay. Let me double check on that. It is kind of tight, so maybe it won't move, but who knows? It might. There's a possibility it will. Okay, so I'm gonna use 15 and kind of tighten this. Now what I want to do is put this in there. Ow. Whew. I'm stuck there. Okay. I think it's tight enough to be able to not have to rely on that. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Top is not, so you guys get what I'm saying. So basically, that's how you're gonna do that. Every sway bar link, it's like that. So similarly, so you want to make sure it's very tight. All the vibration due to the road and all that conditions, how bad they are, potholes and all that, will make it come loose. If you don't feel safe of you know, with your skills being tightening it down, you can use a blue thread locking I'm not sure what it was, paste. I know there's another term for that, but you can do that to make sure it locks in place, and just make sure to let it dry, cure for at least 24 hours. You should be good. We suggest just doing it during a time you're not going to use the vehicle. Give it 2 days at max, depending on the weather, because it could be this moisture. Well, summertime, winter, what keeps it from curing faster than it should. Alright guys, hopefully you liked the video. Let me know if you got any questions. Thank you. This is for the Honda Fit 2008.